Media. He tell us about blockchain-based changes.
Thank you. Keynote, right? That's the first thing and the last thing you see. Polish. That's enough. Thank you. Yeah. I hope that the rest of the guys outside are just going to have the coffee and they're going to come back. We had a lot of technical conversations and a lot of interesting conversations about Mercedes. So I'm just going to talk a little bit different than others because hopefully also a lot of guys had some coffee, so it's not going to be, sleepy right now. We are going to basically talk about ROI. A lot of you know what ROI is, guys in the business. So it's usually a return on investment. So now we're going to talk about return on efficiency. So we're going to talk about things that are not exactly in the hype, but rather try to go back and try to talk, why do we really have to use blockchain? Blockchain is definitely inefficient. How many of you agree with that? Okay, so like 4% of that. But at the same time, all of us are here in order to sit down and understand something about something so inefficient. This is the truth, that blockchain and all the technologies that we use with that are basically, from the database and from the computing point of view, they are more inefficient than the computers that we had 40 years ago. So now this is the right question. So why are we talking about something that is so inefficient? So don't worry about it. We're not going to just leave the place by just saying that, okay, so now we understood blockchain is not the right thing. We're just going to basically talk about the reality and the real use cases outside of the hype and everything that is just trying to say things that is not going to be the truth. How many of you guys know what blockchain is? Good, you see, so we're not definitely going to go to technicality. I'm not going to talk about Hyperledger, I'm not going to talk about OpenLedger. But what we're going to definitely do is a KYC. We're just going to understand what you're doing, and I would understand also what you guys are trying to do with, like what I want to say, that we understand to have a dialogue, not me just being here and try to just speak here. So how many of you guys own a cryptocurrency? But don't worry, it's not from the tax office, It's like, now it's totally fine, And nobody's gonna also block your bank account after that, so it's not a problem with that. So, how many of you guys have ever borrowed money in order to buy any cryptocurrency? Okay, so there's one person back there, I will just talk about it. How many of you guys have ever used a blockchain? Okay. That's very interesting. So this is where we are going, right? We're just trying to understand how many of us are here in order to really just try to get some profits out of that. How many of us are here because we are trying to do some risk taking out of that? And how many of you are here in order to basically understand we're trying to get some technology and try to use it? So this is the reality. If hypothetically some of you are trying to think about, okay, so we're going to have a distributed system, and the distributed system is going to help us, for example, with the processing power. This is the reality that is going to happen. So if you are going to use the processing power by Amazon EC2, the pricing is going to be 13.4 per 200 milliseconds. And that is going to basically, if you want to use it with Ethereum at the same time, roughly, we just want to put the Ethereum in a way that is going to make it round into $420. It is going to be exactly 1 million times less efficient to use Ethereum than if you want to use the Amazon. Or, let's now try to put it as a storage. So if you want to, again, use Amazon's MX500 SSD in order to basically store 250 gigabyte of data, if you want to use the same thing, again, on Ethereum network, it's going to cost you $84 million. That is, again, 1 million times less efficient. So this is the reality. So we're basically going to use something that is not going to be as fast as the centralized solutions, and is not going to be as efficient for storing the data. So why are we really using it? I would say maybe the most important thing is going to be the censorship resistant. How many of you guys had your bank account in some banks? I'm not going to say any specific bank, but then they just say that, we're going to block your bank account. How many of you guys had a Facebook account, and without even thinking that you did something wrong, you just saw that your account was being blocked just because somebody asked them to? So there are a lot of ways. Or like you're working with another company or another country, and then they say that, from tomorrow you cannot do something like that. In the world of decentralized solutions, none of these things are going to happen. So all third-party resistance is going to be on your side. So you're going to basically work with everyone, anytime, without any limitations whatsoever. The other one is going to be the fraud resistance. It's going to be the fact that I'm not even going to go outside of the whole world of blockchain. Even if you look at all the problems that are happening inside the whole world of blockchain and decentralized solutions. We had a very good speaker before. They were talking about the reality of decentralization. Not everything is decentralized or centralized. So most things are hybrid, something in the middle. So if you look at something like Mt. Gox and everything that happened with that, the reality is the whole Mt. Gox was a centralized solution. And that was the way that they managed to take everybody's money and run away. And that could happen with a lot of other companies and a lot of other corporations. But when you're working on a blockchain solutions and decentralized solutions, you can basically totally exit all of those scams and then basically try to make sure that if you put your money or you're working with a specific application or with a specific company, that is going to stay. The other one is the transparency. What you see is what you get. Hypothetically, like you're going out to have some betting system or some gambling or even some specific company that promises you that we are going to do it in a fair way. Or you're doing some trading and you just see that the company says that all of our transactions and everything are going to be fair, that all the people inside the chain are going to benefit from your purchase. But how do you know what they say is true? It's not that what we have is a total transparency, but what you see is what you get. Meaning that you can check the whole system. And for some very technical people that are here, 99% of conversations I have are about public blockchain. I'm not even going to touch the private blockchain. So this is a product that you're going to have by using blockchain, is the fact that you can make sure that the product that you're going to use is going to be exactly the way that they promote it for you. So if you're going to go on a betting system or if you're going to go on any other application, you know that there's going to be the least amount of changes between what you expect and what you're going to receive in the end. Robustness. This is also another issue. So right now, you're going to even a few weeks ago, we had the same problem even with the Visa, even though that they're very good in so many different levels. But the reality is that as long as you have one center of attack, things are going to be much easier to just break down. So right now, you're using a very interesting service. You're using an event application. You're using a specific device for, I don't know, like booking your ticket or anything else. And if that center is not going to be available, so the first thing is going to happen is that all of your applications and all of your resources are going to be out of your reach. But if this is going to be decentralized, you're always going to be redirected to another place. So this is going to make it much easier for the security point of view and also for the fact that you can always make sure that you have access. So there is no offline in that mode. Interoperability. This is also a very important matter. A lot of people try to, for example, build an application on top of Facebook. And then Facebook tomorrow just thought that, okay, so guys, we're going to change our codes. So none of your applications are going to work on top of my application. Or you're working on LinkedIn, and then Microsoft bought LinkedIn, and then all of the things changed. So all of those applications that they were working on top of another application, right now they cannot work. But if you look at how the blockchain works, every time any other application that works right now with the blockchain, it is always going to work with the blockchain. So it is not even up to the developers to stop those things. It is the nature of it. And that helps you to develop something on top of your application without really worrying about what if some application or like some people that they want to basically have a centralized way of influencing what you want to do is going to change everything for you. And this is going to make it much easier for people to develop things on top of your application. Now we're going to go back a little bit more into basically why we're using blockchain. Again, one more time. I don't know how many of you guys are developers or people that are basically just having some hands in writing and everything. Because a lot of us think that, okay, so if the blockchain is going to happen, then everything else is going to go out, that there is going to be no centralized systems, that there is going to be nothing that what we want to, like have access to that is going to be centralized. But that's definitely not true. Looking at what we already have, we have two different languages. One of them is C and the other is Python. In reality, if you want to write your application on C or with Python, the application on Python is going to run between 10 to 100 times slower than the C. But still people use Python. What does it mean? It means that what you really want to achieve with your system, you can still have a lot of solutions that they are perfect if you want to use them in a centralized way. You can have better applications that is better for them to be used in a total decentralized way. So this is the solution for the, not right now, but rather for the future. Meaning, if you really want to make something for your company, you have to think about a lot of factors. For example, one of the factors that a lot of people forget about blockchain is that blockchain does not stop. Blockchain constantly tries to create the next block. So if you're going to have an application with a lot of calls in it, all of those processing powers and everything is going to go to waste. So maybe this is not the best thing for you. Or if what you're trying to do is something that you can easily just have it in one centralized location and all of those things is just a matter of normal store of data, as you can see, a lot of companies like TransferWise, they are still disrupting the banking system without touching the cryptocurrencies. A lot of other companies like Amazon, they are disrupting the whole world of like storage and processing and everything. Again, without worrying about the whole decentralization, because they have a solution for that. So if you just want to somehow just wrap it up, the most important thing for me is always that. Yes, blockchain is always the right thing, but the question second is that what you really want to do with it. Because a lot of us, we're not really trying to have a sober conversation. A lot of people use blockchain as an advertising platform, meaning that yes, because the other company used blockchain, now we also have to use blockchain. Meaning that because the other companies are trying to, for example, like do an ICO, we also want to make some money out of ICO. So which coin we can use in order to get something out of it? That was the first questions I had. Usabilities of blockchain. And whole world of ICOs have nothing in common. If you want to talk about ICOs, you have to compare them to fundraising platforms, to how to make different ways in order to keep your liquidity and at the same time try to basically raise money for your idea or for your platform. The reality is when you really sit down and try to see, okay, so hypothetically, like we're in a car manufacturing place, how we can try to basically have our assets and then try to make the best out of it. Meaning that which part of our platform, because of being centralized, is not going to work on a full efficiency. And that is the part that we have to fix. Because if hypothetically the list of all the Mercedes cars is going to be on the blockchain, you can right now imagine that it's going to be 1 million times less efficient. And if any one of you is a developer, I didn't talk about sharding, because sharding is going to make things at least 1,000 times better, but still that's 1,000 times less efficient. So also, I just want to criticize what I said before, just to make sure that nobody's going to have that after that. But this is what we have to remember, that blockchain right now, unfortunately, is a big hype. A lot of people try to use it for things that are not really made for that. But at the same time, there are lots of other usabilities that blockchain has, but still, unfortunately, because lots of us are just in the marketing point of that, or in just the way of just keeping up with the Joneses part of that, we're just really forgetting that there are lots of better usabilities that they can basically try to put themselves into the decentralized solutions and basically just give benefits to all of us. We're a little bit behind the schedule, so I tried to just wrap it up and try to make sure that everything is going to be on, and also we will have some time for some questions and answers. So from my point of view, I hope I just said the whole thing, and if you have any questions, I'm going to be here for you. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Okay, any questions? Okay, so thank you so much, Ahmad. Teraz chciałabym zaprosić Pawła Dudiota, który opowie nam o działaniach regulacyjnych wspierających adopcję blockchain na świecie oraz w Polsce. Oddaję Ci głos.
Dzień dobry.